Welcome back to the ESL studios in lovely sunny Cologne for the ESL One Battlefield 4 Spring Finals. I'm your host, my name is Mitch Leslie, and we've had a massive set of games from Group A already. We only have one game left from Group A to play tomorrow, and that will be the losers bracket final, and that will be deciding our second qualifying team. But we are now on to Group B, so let's have a look at the bracket for that group, of course. Now, Meet Your Makers and Dexterity Gaming will be our first match of the day, or of this group, should I say. And then SK Gaming and MHSV Esports, the hometown heroes, will be playing off in that second match. I'm here on the desk with Benny from MYM. Thank you for joining me, Benny.
Thank you for inviting me.
My absolute pleasure. Now, you guys, of course, you're the only other team to have won a finals. MYM won back in season 1. You guys were, as an org, MYM.
Yeah, but I was not in the team season 1.
Yeah, of course. So things have changed since then, but every other finals had Fnatic's name written all over it. And you were the only team also to take a cup off Fnatic this one as well, number 4, where you beat them in those semi-finals. So you guys, people expect a lot of you guys, obviously, especially in terms of being able to take teams like Fnatic, definitely consider veterans. How do you guys feel having that title? How do you guys feel coming into the event today?
Well, we feel very confident because we did pretty strong match online, so we think we can do something really big maybe, and we expect to go to the final.
So let's talk about your opponents here, because this is the first time in a while, at least a year, that we've seen an American or South American representative team. The play style is a little bit different maybe to what we've seen from some of the other teams here. I'm sure you guys have done your homework. What do you expect from them? Have you thought much about their play style compared to yours?
So we expect a really aggressive play style. We watched many replays and we played against a few Brazilian teams, and we expect a really aggressive gameplay like Infamous did like 2 seasons ago, I think. Yeah, it's the same, it's the French style, but more aggressive.
So more aggressive, but just like the French style. Thank you very much for joining us, Benny, and good luck to you guys in your games.
Thank you again.
We'll see you very soon. It's time now to speak to our representative from Team Dexterity, of course, coming out of the American region for the first time in quite some time. He's just going to come and join me right now for a very brief chat. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you very much.
That's okay. Now, do tell us your name for those at home who aren't aware.
It's Mav, or MAV.
Mav, you guys, in your games, your qualifying games were very, very strong. We saw you play up against Uranus in the grand final of your qualifying match, and you picked Lankang Dam against them in the second map. You already had that 1 map advantage from coming into the winners bracket. Obviously, Lankang Dam is one of those maps where if you can sort of get ahead to start with, it's hard to catch up. Do you think that map, that strategy is going to work here? Is that an idea you're going to go for, or something a little bit different maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Lankang Dam is a very momentum-based map. Like, normally someone who starts doing well, it's going to keep up for the rest of the round. It's a really hard to come back map. And it's not a well-designed based map for competitive mode, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's going to work as well. And we can sort of, I don't know.
Well, who knows? We might even see that one today. We'll keep that one under your hat, though. Now, you guys have had a chance to see all of these guys play. We've seen, the more passive teams, maybe like Epsilon sometimes, and obviously the more aggressive French teams. Where do you guys think you fit on that spectrum?
More aggressive, for sure. Yeah, we always played like that. We are used to the aggressive play style since we started playing, and we'll hope to keep on aggressing.
And obviously, you'll be going up against MYM here, who are sort of veterans and aren't the most aggressive team. Do you think that you have an advantage just because of that? Do you think your aggression is going to be enough? Are you going to be able to overwhelm them, you think? Is that the plan?
We honestly don't know how we're going to hold up against them because we never played against them. So it's like incognito. I guess that's how we call it. I don't know. But hopefully it's going to work out well.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Mav, and good luck to you and the rest of your team. Well, you've heard the word here from the stage. Let's pass it over to the casters to put this match under the microscope.
Thank you for that, Mitch, and I apologize if I sound a little bit sick. I am a little bit under the weather, but hopefully I'll be able to make it through the game. Dexterity up against Meet Your Makers, a clash from Europe against a clash from Brazil. I'm really excited to see this match, and for a couple of reasons. For the fact that we have, over the course of all the seasons for the ESL One Battlefield series, we've had, bringing in the Oceanic region, and now we brought in the Americas region, and I'm really curious to see if a team like Dexterity can take on the big dogs from Europe.
Yeah, that's the question everybody wants to know. I mean, we've seen Dexterity completely, utterly destroyed everything in the North America and South America region.
We should point out, before you go on, they only lost 2 maps across the entire 4 cups and the group stage and the playoffs.
Yep, 2 maps. 2 maps.
Not even Fnatic has done that.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, and I got to cast every single one of them. So, I mean, they're undeniably the best team in the Americas right now, and I am very, very excited to see what's going to be shaping up. Right there on your screen, you can see Mav, Nesk, Wag, Julio, and the 9 all looking great there. As I mean, and this is their starting 5. Originally, they were looking at dropping, or not dropping, but Mav, I believe was going to be able to make it, so they're going to be subbing Maito. Still a very good player, but not one of their standard 5 that were playing in the cup. So for them to have their starting 5 here, this is a big deal. They did take Epsilon to a game number 5 in another league, another playoffs. They took them to a game number 5, very, very close game number 5. Now, obviously, that was both teams playing in North American servers, so they did have the same pings, but you still have high pings. And the Euros aren't really used to playing with high pings. I mean,
especially Epsilon, when I always hear teams complain about Duke with his 20 ping, just completely beating you based off of that alone.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting. Earlier, we saw Dexterity actually playing against Fnatic in a couple of scrims. Dexterity was winning. So
that's going to be...
I don't know if that's going to be, if Fnatic's just kind of whatever, and we're kind of throwing them a little bit, or if that was, maybe something that we're going to be see to come here in the future in this tournament.
And before we get to Meet Your Makers, I want to point out one more thing about just Brazil as a region as a whole is... esports is very huge in the country, but doesn't seem to translate outside of the country. Like, you don't see a lot of foreigners really interested in the Brazilian Battlefield scene, or for instance Counter-Strike Go. I was thinking of in particular, where you have Kaboom, now known as Key, coming through into Katowice, surprising everyone and really started to perform and really opening up Brazil to the outside world.
Yeah.
But Meet Your Makers, one of the long-standing teams within the ESL One Battlefield scene, playing since the first season where they got their initial victory at first place, the only one that they've been able to secure. Now with a little bit of a different roster, seeing Flax, Punchroll, Benny, Sayo, and Smashu. Benny, I don't know, he's a very short guy, but he's always got a lot to say, and always got a lot of ferocity with him that exceeds his height.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, Ben, if you're hearing this.
It's okay. It's okay. He can deal with it. But it's going to be a very interesting game right here. Both of the this roster right here, I don't think played in the regular season too awful much with each other. That is a completely different team. Sorry, guys.
Hunter.
I was about to say Hunter, but that's a different team. By the way, if you guys did not know, 36 hours travel time, 2 hours of sleep, straight here from the airport. Just saying. So if I mess up, that's why. It's my excuse. You're sick.
This is a backcaster combo then. We got no sleep and a guy who's been utterly sick the past couple of days. And you'll probably hear me coughing up a lung. Hopefully I can mute myself quick enough in the middle of this. But the Pigs and Band's going to be coming in, and I'm curious to see what both teams are going to be taking, especially Dexterity side. Since you casted all their games, you know the map pool that they're looking for, and can you guys give some insight into that?
Well, they are very good on Siege of Shanghai. Probably one of their best maps. They also like, I would have to say, Zavod, which we already see being banned right now. Benny or MYM making sure that map is gone and out of there. Dam is also going to be one gone, which I think that either team would have liked to have banned that one out. It's kind of like one of the standard bans that we do see across the board. But this is looking really, really good, I think, for Dexterity. The only one that I'm a little bit kind of about is Dawnbreaker.
I think that's what MYM's taking second.
Yeah, that's exactly happening. Dawnbreaker for MYM, or not for MYM, but Dexterity has been a very undecided map. It's been 50-50 most times. They struggle on that particular map right there. So I really don't know how they're going to be faring. I think that Lockers could be a very good start out for these guys. They have shown before just dominating the competition on Lockers. But again, these are not European teams. So I don't really know how they're going to be holding up to MYM. MYM, like you said before, they've been one of the best teams overall throughout the scene, especially over the last couple of seasons and taking season one themselves. But they are minus safe. So they're not working with him this season.
Yeah.
They didn't play with him last season for the grand finals. So we'll see how it's going to be faring here.
And I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out too, because one thing Machine and I have always talked about when it's come across, every cup that we've done, is that there's different tiers of teams in Europe. There's 3 different tiers, like the high tier with Fnatic, SK, Epsilon, MYM still makes their way in there just barely. Then you have the mid-tier teams like MHSV, a couple other ones I can think of on the top of my head, and then you have the lower tier teams that have kind of been completely knocked out of this. And Dexterity is clearly a high-level team, a high-tier team over in Brazil. But I'm curious how the tiers compare across regions, because that is going to be what's really interesting. And I heard you mentioning to Machine in the last game that Fnatic was saying that Dexterity plays really weird.
Yes.
And it was really hard for them to understand their play style. Yes. Fnatic, though, is one of those teams that gets thrown off. Actually, one person in particular, too easy, gets really frustrated when teams don't play quote-unquote normal.
Standard, yeah.
Standard. And he gets so frustrated that it kind of spreads across the team and kind of makes them all play, relatively worse. And I'm curious to see how this is going to work out, because we have Fnatic now qualified through the first seed of Group A. That means they'll be playing the second seed of Group B, which we'll find out tomorrow. I kind of don't want to see Dexterity play second, though, if they do make it through. I want to see Fnatic and Dexterity in the finals to have, the top of both regions going head-to-head.
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty interesting to see. But, hey, before we get to that point, we got to make sure that Dexterity is going to be able to make it to day number 2.
True.
I
have confidence in Dex being able to hold their own. We'll see if they're going to be able to close out these games. Again, this is all new for both teams. It's new game styles, new gameplays. So we'll see how these guys are going to be shaping up. Right from the start, though, as we are going to be seeing here on Lockers, Dexterity will be taking the U.S. side, and we are going to be seeing the Russian side here for MYM. MYM getting the slightly better breakout side. They're going to be able to get onto that C point and onto A a little bit faster, or at the very least, they'll have a little bit of a better positioning there, especially over on the Charlie flag. Now, what we have seen from Dexterity when they do play on the
what is that
Russian
position
side.
you're sitting in? Sorry, I'm just sitting with his knee up in his shoulder and or his armpit. That's just really awkward. But as you're saying, over on the
next level stuff right there.
If you're comfortable, it works. And I really want to see how both teams are going to break out in the beginning. Because in the first map, I'm not expecting anything too crazy between the teams. They just kind of get a feel of each other. Obviously, they've been able to do their research watching the cups that they've played, not against each other, but in their own regions, the respective regions, and see how they kind of get that feel. But we'll be an early 2-1 hold over for the side Dexterity with C and B. And now we got to see Michi Makers make the move. The ball is in their court. They're the one that has to be aggressive to try to get a flag cap.
Yeah, and it's going to be 2 up right now on the outside of that Charlie flag. Punchroll is going to be coming back in. Will not be able to get that hipfire spray. Nice play right there. That's actually 2 down right there. 9 going ham, and that's 5 down for MYM. Full squad wipe right there. And I have to say, the Brazilians are probably going nuts at the moment. But MYM very quickly getting 3 capped right from the start. So Dexterity, for their very first game, their debut in the EU scene, they're looking good.
They are bringing that Brazilian pride over to Europe now, and they're going to continue to hold on to this tri-cap as they're going to get almost a full squad wipe over towards the B flag. Mav trying to come a big stop on the push out of 2 meta. Michi Maker Sayo and Punchroll over towards the A5, trying to hold them back, and I don't know what Michi Makers are doing. I'm a little bit confused that they're kind of struggling a little bit. It seems like they've finally broken through, though, as they have gotten a squad wipe onto Dexterity. They're going to get a couple of flags back. But my question is this now, Brett. Are they going to hold on to 2-1, or are they going to try to be aggressive and cocky and go for a tri-cap?
Right now, I think MYM needs to play it safe. They don't need to go for those 3 caps.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many teams just for no reason go for a tri-cap because they want to bring the pressure.
The thing is how do they set up after they get the 3 cap? And this is the way you set up for a 3 cap right now. They have 4 players that are set up very defensively on A and C. They have 1 guy playing aggressively onto that Bravo point just to hang up the team. Right now, we do see a push coming in for Mav right now. We'll be able to pick up at least 1 coming over there through Connector. Not going to be able to get the second one as we do have Desk now pushing in here as well. Oh my God, nice play right there from Flax, getting a nice little 2-piece, but not watching out there on the Connector. A flag will be going over into the favor here of Dex, as we will be seeing A and B flag in their possession. But the thing is that MYM did get a couple of back B spawns. They will be able to push back in onto the burn. So really it's going to be up to it. Desk can start playing a little bit more passively, and maybe they need to not go for those very aggressive 3 cap plays.
And one thing I'm seeing with Michi Makers, and just across the European scene in general, most teams can't play reactively. They always have to play proactively. They have to be the ones making the move, causing the pressure, because they don't know how to get out of kind of like a rut. And I feel like Michi Makers are playing reactively and letting Dexterity get control of this game because of the aggression that Dexterity is throwing out. Like, all right, we have 2 flags, let's just push straight into the 3rd. Let's not even worry about holding on to these 2, because Michi Makers are just, honestly, they're getting out fragged pretty heavily. I mean, it says 24 to 25. It's really close there. But when it comes to these 1-on-1s and these 2-on-2s, I feel like Dexterity are winning out for the majority of the time.
Well, yeah, and it really, matters on where those fights are actually happening. You know, it's kind of like what you're saying. Yeah, they're even, but where are those fights happening? If they're happening on flags and they're going in the favor of Dexterity, it's going to look good for Dexterity. As you can see right now, 116 to 98. They have about a 20-ticket advantage at the moment, but they are losing out to that two-piece. Nice little play there from Smash U. Outside, though, we do have a one-on-one here. Mav going back and forth. Will be able to get the headshot there onto Benny. That will open up a cap for that C side. But the problem right now, I think, is that Dex is trying to bite off maybe a little bit more than they can chew. Again, it's going to be coming down to how they set up off of this 3 cap. Julio, though, not going back to that A site for the defending. So A already going to be transitioning back over. And, you know, in past games, A flag has always been a very dominant flag that you really need to keep.
And we've seen kind of the meta adapt on this map just a little bit, where a lot of teams prefer the AB holds and force the team to play out from the cold to come in from the outside. We've seen some teams originally back in the day start with like A and C and kind of hold them back in towards that B area, but I like the transition to the AB hold. We haven't seen that really come out too much for either team. It's been just really chaotic for the most part. But Dexterity, I mean, the aggression they're putting out, it seems like Mutual Makers never have all 5 alive able to push in towards a flag.
I think that one of the things that teams are going to have to get used to is when you play Dexterity, it's going to be chaos. It's just going to be straight up chaotic. So right now we are going to be seeing a 3 cap though for Dexterity. Sayo does end up going down. A lot of players in those back B spawns not going to be able to survive. Benny also getting picked up. We are going to be seeing Smash U now transitioning out toward that C flag. But something that is very, very common for South American teams specifically is that they zerg. They love to push all 5 players onto 1 point. And the way they do that is they basically just overwhelm you and then they keep the reses going. They keep resing people right there in the gunfights and the pressure never lets off. Now the downside to that is the fact that you might actually get out-rotated on. So far, we haven't really seen that happening for MYM. They haven't really figured out how to get back behind Dexterity. We still haven't seen any back spawns coming in onto that B site. Should be seeing some randoms coming in, as we do have Julio coming over there onto that A site. Not going to be able to make anything happen. But
I'm glad that you pointed that out, because actually we've seen that happen a lot in the group stages over in Europe, where some teams just like to be really aggressive, not really leave anyone behind because they realize I'm not going to win out in a 1v2 or 1v3, so just send everyone over towards a flag, cap that over, and then just kind of play the rotate game. Who's the quickest to get around the map, and not worry about holding that push come in towards the backside. The only downside to that, though, comes, what if the other team's faster? You kind of have to go, while they're going clockwise, you kind of have to go counterclockwise, fight them head on, and then shift that momentum back in your favor.
Or what happens when the other team goes clutch with a 1v3? And stops the push.
I don't see Valutage in this game.
But, you know, that is something that you do have to worry about. And, you know, at the moment, Dexterity's still going to be able to stay really, really far ahead. 97 to 35 right now. MYM stuck outside onto that C point. We do have one player, Punch Roll, who is going to be left back up. 9 going back and forth with him right here. But they will be able to come out on top. We're also going to be seeing Benny stuck outside here, just waiting for the defense onto the C side. So, you know, really...
Let's just keep it here. Let's keep it over the tabletop really quickly, because we can see... You know, Mutual Makers are leaving 1 man behind on towards C, Benny, to defend that. Yeah. They're not sending all 5 through, and we're looking at the blue colors. They're sending everyone they possibly can towards these flags whenever they have the ability to. And it seems like Mutual Makers aren't adapting their playstyle.
Well, the thing that Dexterity does very, very well is that they will push all 5 players over onto a flag, and before they even have the cap, before they even cleared out the flag, they'll have a guy start to transition back to their home flag. And that right there is a really good preemptive way of being able to hold both of those caps. Now, it doesn't work every single time. That is something that's Dexterity, you know, that's the chance that they take in that situation. As you can see, B flag will be getting taken over here right now for MYM, as we do see some backspawns though coming in for Julio. Ace flag, not defended at all. And 79 tickets to 23. This is going to be the chance right now for MYM to try and make a comeback. They need to burn down more of these tickets, because if we do see a 60-plus game, that's going to be very difficult on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems like Mutual Makers are just spreading out a little bit too thin, or potentially a little bit too thin. They do have the tri-cap, which WAG will quickly turn over towards the C flag. But now Mutual Makers, they finally have control. They finally have the ability to relax, take a second, figure out what to do, hold on to these flags that they can stop from pushing towards A, which looks like Smash is able to do almost by himself with the help of Benny off to the side, and Sayo there. Looks like they will be able to overwhelm them and hold the push. This is one of the first times we see them hold off this push and to just stave it off for an extended period of time. They're going to maintain A, but now their B flag's left completely open. C's wide open, which I'm assuming Mutual Makers should know, and Punch Roll might head out towards that area. But we're seeing 9 try to attack this A flag over and over again. He's trying to not let this pressure off.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, at the moment, Dexterity is going to be going in for this B the BA push. They're not too worried about C. I think really right now they just want to go, hey, take C. Yeah, spin the guy out there and go ahead and let them cap that over. We do see have Julio going down up above. So only one player here for MYM actually to try and get this cap. That will be Benny coming out on top. Nice little play there as he's going to be able to get that really, really sweet frag there, locking it down. And, you know, really, oh, look at this. We do have Punch Roll outside all alone, and he's going to be able to take down Mav as well. So Dexterity starting to lose a little bit of that momentum that they had there at the beginning. And it's kind of like what you were talking about before. These teams, they're feeling each other out. And MYM, it may have taken them, you know, half a round to a round in order to feel out Dexterity.
Well, as long as they finally felt them out, that's the point. You don't want to kind of go into map number 2 still with no idea how to counter them, or else you're looking at, you know, possibly a 2-0 against them. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this go all the way, 3 maps. You know, we have one of the best teams in Europe up against the best team in Brazil. Both teams fighting for pride for their regions, I guess we could say. Any team that goes up against Dexterity is going to be fighting for pride for Europe, and Dexterity, of course, waving the Brazilian flag. But in the meantime, they still hold a 2-1. Meteor Makers have clawed away this lead that was, what, 60, 70 tickets? Now down to 30. They've cut it in half. They're looking for more, though. And Meteor Makers, honestly, they really start to shine towards the end of a half.
Well, and this is something that Dexterity needs to be careful not to run into. This is something that we see a lot of South American teams doing, and this is one of the things that they've been really good at not doing, which is zerging when you don't need to. Right now, Dexterity needs to start playing a lot smarter, not this crazy, crazy pushing.
And speaking of Dexterity, it's going to take a little bit of a listen in with them just to see what's going on in their camp. We might not understand it, but we can at least feel the intensity.
Come on.
Tudo miado, vai, pega essa
Wow, that is a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. I can't hear a single voice apart from another one because they're all saying things, they're all really pumped up. But I mean, they have to be in shambles. They had a 70-ticket lead, and look at this, Meteor Makers are going to come out with potentially the victory in the first half.
Yeah, they will be coming out with a win. 9 tickets, 2-0. MYM has got to be feeling just amazingly good right now as they will be able to take that first round of the first map. Like you said, from a 70-ticket deficit, basically. I mean, I think that's what it took. It took them a half a round to figure out how to play Dexterity, and Dexterity was not ready to transition to deal with MYM once they'd made a change. Look at the KDs, though.
Yeah, that's a big point.
25 and 13 there for Flax. Punch Roll going 20 and 11, 25 and 15 for Smashu. I mean, you know, there for a while, they were going negative at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, they just started heating it up.
I feel like Nessek's kind of like the quote-unquote entry fragger for the team to open up the side a little bit, but Flax, Punch Roll, Smashu all stepping up with those kind of kills is ridiculous. Even Benny, who was the one defending flags for the most part, he was kind of acting as their anchor, sitting back at a flag while the rest of the team attacked. Even he's positive at 15 and 9. Yep. That's pretty damn well done. And I expected Dexterity to pick up the first half just because they have the element of surprise a little bit coming into this. The Meteor Makers adapted quickly, and that's one thing you can't really say about them in the past, that they're not really that quick to figure out how a team's playing and to adapt. Yeah. But they've done it here. They've done their research, and it's paying off.
Yeah, well, I was talking to a couple of the MYM guys a little bit earlier when everybody was warming up, and Benny was sitting there saying, you know what, I've watched every single one of their videos from ESL One. I've watched every single one of the replays that I can get my hands on, and he studies this, so he kind of has an idea as to what's going to be coming. So I think that I think right now it's just all about, you know, MYM basically, you know, studying up on Dexterity. Dexterity may not have been doing the same thing.
I sure as hell hope they would. I mean, how many people are watching them to push through? They're defending an entire region.
Yeah.
And I honestly have them as one of the teams to get through this. I feel like it was supposed to be a battle of second place. It was supposed to be a battle of Meteor Makers and SK to secure second place in this. I thought Dexterity would be able to go all the way through. I mean, we can't count them as they're out. I mean, it was one half. It's not over at all. Yeah, they lost by 9 tickets, but 9 tickets isn't really that much of a lead if we really think about it.
No,
we think about the reverse of that, though. They were up 70, and then they end up losing by 9, which is kind of a different side to that story.
Yeah.
But Meteor Makers, they look calm. They look collected. They look like they know what they need to do. And now Dexterity, they're the ones that need to change what they're doing, or at least play better.
Yeah, now be looking right now for WAG. He's either going to be throwing a rocket down through curve or he's going to be going outside. Yeah, so WAG right now is going to be taking a rocket over here towards Snow. And his whole point right here is to try and get an initial C site. So far, he's going to be able to spot him out, not able to throw the rocket down there just yet. He's trying to get a little bit of splash damage maybe, as 9 is going to go down, unfortunately. And look at this. It's looking like basically first game, as the pressure onto that alpha flag from MYM is so crazy right here. And we are going to be seeing Sayo picking up Mav. That will be an A cap for MYM, as they are going to be able to push Dexterity possibly outside of the map.
And they might even get a little bit of a tri-cap. The back spawns will come in towards B for Dexterity, so they should be able to secure the flag in just a few. But this is typical European style. Just kind of hit B, rush straight over towards A, send one mount towards C to get a feel of how many people on the opposing team are there, and then get that 2-1. But they are playing from C and A. They still have WAG to worry about. It's just trying to push through. It does eventually get taken down. And now I think it all comes down to Punchroll trying to defend against Nesek on the outside.
Yeah, we'll come down to a one-on-one. Ness, though,
well
going down. How low on it? He wasn't even really that low on health. And oh my God, 2 players on Dexterity have kills right now. Now 3. That's how bad it was. 9 is 0-3 currently right now. The rest of them all with 2 deaths. So they are basically looking like what MYM was looking like there in the first part of round number 1. So definitely a really, really good transition here for MYM to picking it back up. They are going to be able to secure themselves C and A flag, which, as you said before, was pretty much the standard there for a while. And looks like that's going to be the case here in this particular game. But like Europeans, they're playing very, very passive here. They have the 2 flag burn. They're not going to push it here.
I would hope they wouldn't. We've seen a lot of teams back in the day make the mistake of pushing through, but look at this backcat coming in towards B. Meechmakers, Punchroll, and I believe it's going to be Sayo trying to defend against this, as they're going to be able to at least neutralize it for now. The C flag will finally get turned over, but Meechmakers keeping the pressure on. If we compare how this second half started off against the first one, Meechmakers didn't lose a single ticket till a minute 20 in, where they were the ones to get 2-1 against them in the first half. They've definitely changed things up. It seems like they're a lot more comfortable on the initial start of that US side. And now they're looking still for a battle towards B. We have Mav and we have WAG to defend against that. Meantime, 9 over towards A has been able to pick up the kill and secure a hold. And unfortunately, Flags failed a little bit of a push towards C. So a little bit of a up in the air of all the flags. And we should see some stability coming in, just a few. Dexterity holding on to the 2-1. They need to get the respawns back in. And I'm assuming this hit's going to be coming towards A shortly towards out of Meechmakers, but they're still looking towards C a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't know if Desk is a little bit scared here, as they're not playing as aggressive as they were in round number 1. Maybe they feel like, you know what, MYM was able to counter us just about everywhere that we went. 9 missing out on so many of those shots there onto that alpha flag. We did see some really good exchanges there outside. Benny will be able to come out on top, as we do see Dexterity now falling to a BC hold here for MYM. Not really the best hold here for MYM, but they're going to be able to continue this bleed in their favor. And that's all they really need right now. They have that 9-ticket advantage. While it's not a lot of an advantage, it is an advantage. So at the moment, Dex is just trying to poke in somewhere. It looks honestly like they don't know what to do right now.
Well, they changed up their style. Whether or not that's because they have to adapt to how Meechmakers are playing, or because that's how they looked at the second half. They're not pushing through with all 5. They're trying to hold on to flags. Actually, if they do attack a 5, they have 2, at most 3 people trying to hit it. And Meechmakers, this is like playing their own game. This is exactly what they kind of want. The style that caught them off guard was sending 5 men pushing towards these flags. But now, back kind of controlling the pace of the game. Dexterity is trying to grab that control back. They're still going to be down 2-1. Meechmakers playing this one very smart. 120 to 102 tickets as we're hitting that almost 4-minute mark in. And again, that 9-ticket lead, that really isn't saying much. All to say is that Meechmakers came back from a 70-ticket deficit in the first half, which is honestly astounding. Yeah, but 9-ticket lead is not that much. So Dexterity, they could easily still come back from this. The ticket deficit isn't big at all. 20 tickets we're looking at. And Dexterity can come back.
Yeah, I think though right now we're going to be seeing a lot of flag hopping between both of these teams. Right now, B-side is getting heavily contested right now. Does look like Dexterity will be coming out on top, but take a look at this. This is the second time that we've seen the rotation onto B and A. Before it was Dexterity. They left B completely alone, let MYM have it, went over to the alpha flag, which wasn't being defended. But right now, Ness could go huge, only able to pick up at least 1, but look at that. Mav coming in at the last second, will be able to get the frag, but he has to be careful as reinforcements coming back up for MYM. Nice pick up there. I believe MYM was able to push him back. Benny very low on health here. A flag will be going over into the favor of Dexterity, as now we're going to be evened it back up pretty much 106 to 94. Very, very close here in the frag departments as well. So I don't know. I think Dexterity is going to be able to make a comeback. We see a cap here onto that C site. A is going to be completely okay here, as we do have more back B spawns coming back in. So yeah, at the moment, Dexterity is starting to balance this back out.
Why don't you go and take a little bit of a listen to Meet Your Makers, actually, just to kind of hear exactly what's going on in their camp. I believe they will be speaking English so we can understand what they're saying.
You guys. One C mountain.
What?
One C mountain as well.
2C, right?
Yeah, 2C. One skinny, banana. He's fucking 33.
2 holding banana, 2 holding banana. You need
One dead, C.
pressing.
One more.
One more right side.
Only one.
One dead. One more prone. See that. Oh, one more C. Last on A.
One day. Come on, guys.
Pushing.
Pushing.
Two life. One on C at least. Come on. I defend B.
All right, well, as you can hear, they're kind of really pumped up within their team, and they're trying to figure out what they need to do to fix things. They're being really calm, which I like to hear. They're not being, I mean, I'm not saying being really aggressive and everyone's screaming like Dexterity was the bad thing, but it's a lot more calming for them. I think this is the way Meet Your Makers want to play it, you know, just kind of chill out, not kind of rush things in, not make a move that's going to cause you to make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here on A, though, we have a really good battle going back and forth. Smash Shoe able to make his way over here next to Kitchen. Will be able to take down Wag and secure himself that, well, at least a position over here onto that alpha site. Will eventually go down. Punch Rule, though, staying up and alive, trying to get those reses. Not able to do so just yet. So now down to a one-on-one. Nice pick up there onto Nest, but the spawns are just so much right now for Dexterity. No Magnum kill for you, as we will be having Wag with a nice little 2-kill streak. We'll be able to pick up both of those, and now they're going to be pressuring in for a 3-cap here in just a few seconds. 60 tickets to 85. Dexterity starting to take a little bit of a lead, but you know, are they going to be able to actually hold on to it? You know, we saw them with that massive lead before. MYM was able to come back from it, and they still have to win by those 9 tickets. That is going to be a factor, I think, here in this second round.
We're going to find out as Meet Your Makers not rushing straight towards his A flag, as they're able to pick up a couple of kills towards middle. Nesek was one of those casualties, but in the meantime, Punch Roll will go down towards B, which will kind of force them to commit to this C flag push. And there we can see, Wag trying to push out, does get the kill onto Benny, but we still have Punch Roll off the side and Smash You. The respawn's coming in from the high ground, taking him down. They will maintain C, but just as quickly as they take it, they're going to lose out on A, and they're now forcing Meet Your Makers to play from the outside in the cold. They'll probably get them sick a little bit.
They got him on C. That's going to be a triple cap right there. MYM is running right now as they are down to a 4-man wipe. Where are the spawns coming back in? It looks like back B will be getting flashed right now, but 2 more players from Dexterity are already there waiting for him, as they're going to be able to cause a little bit of a confusion for this MYM team. Going to be basically behind enemy lines. Wag does end up getting picked up. MYM finally going to be able to clear that back out. Now we are outside as Julio is going to be trying to play very defensively here. We do see Flax going down. Did spot out a little bit of a transition coming over there through C tunnels. That does end up going down. But, you know, as quickly as we were talking about before, another transition in terms of flags. And we had a random spawn on top of a random spawn. Now MYM is going to be back behind Dexterity, who were originally back behind MYM onto this B flag.
I'm just thinking of Exhibit right now with random spawns. I'm not sure if many of you will get that joke, but if I said it, you'd probably understand. But either way, Meet Your Makers, they're going to have control of A for now. They're going to be able to pick up B, so they will stop this bleed. But this is what's coming down to. One good push out of Dexterity could end this half. 72 to 16. They have to defend. They have to hold on. They did it so damn well in the first half. And now we're going to find out if they can do it again in a second. They're being aggressive towards C. They read into the push towards A just pretty well, to be honest, as they almost get a full squad wipe, and they're going to have a tri-cap.
Yeah.
I hate seeing this, though. I hate seeing tri-caps towards the end of the game. I understand you're trying to cap any flag you can possibly get, but if you dig down and get yourself buried in that foxhole of a flag, you can maintain it and end up taking the victory yourselves.
Well, it depends on the way that you play that tri-cap. Really good back and forth over here onto that alpha flag. Now coming down to a one-on-one. Benny is going to be going over here against Julio, and we'll see who's going to be able to come out on top. Julio right now trying to get that burn for that alpha flag. He needs to get something going on. Nice pick up there from Flax, as he does end up taking him down. So we might be seeing a huge comeback here, but it depends on how they set up for those 3 caps. If they basically keep one guy over onto that B flag, keep C and A with a defensive line of 4, 3 caps are just fine, and they will be able to get you back into this game. Again, they have, you know, technically 9 more tickets than 14, and Dexterity is struggling just to get out of Bravo. What we need to be seeing from Dexterity right now is to slow down, everybody spawn back in, and then everybody push. That's not happening. They're going in 1s and 2s at a time, and MYM is easily cleaning them up.
And I feel like Future Makers are playing this one really ballsy too. They didn't have anyone on the C flag for the last minute of time, and luckily for them, no one went for the cap onto it. But we'll have Benny there now to defend. We can see all 5 members of Dexterity have spawned in towards B, and it looks like they're going to barrel down this A side. There's only 2 people, Flax and Punchro to defend. Punchro getting one, looking for that second around the corner. He will get taken down. Flax will fall as well inside the infirmary. Now Benny forced to rotate to defend the A flag, but look at those random respawns out of Future Makers, Smash You and Sayo coming in the back of B. They're going to maintain the 2-1 if 9 doesn't get killed on C.
Benny is going to be your man right here to make the play if there's going to be a play being made. He's trying to do it over here onto that C side. He does end up going down. Punchroll, though, with the last second spawn. Can he make it over there towards that Charlie flag? So far, it is completely grayed out.
He's trapped.
3 there for Dex. Nice play there from MYM, but at the same time, a push coming over onto Bravo. A 2-man push here from Dexterity. Smash You will be up above. 8 tickets to 22. MYM will try everything that they possibly can to hold on to this.
That's almost a squad wipe. These respawns are coming on the back towards A. They're trying to respawn on top of each other, but unfortunately they can't do it. And now with 19 tickets left to go, with people left to respawn in, Future Makers, they might have done it. Punchroll's going to come down to him. Can he defend this C flag? He's got 2 men there. He's going to look for the first one, but he can't get the kill. And now C will be turned over, and I think Future Makers instantly going to respond with a push towards A, I would assume, but they don't want to let the C flag go just yet.
Well, they have to hold on to it here. This is going to be a very, very close match. 6 tickets to 13, basically 4 tickets to 4, as we do have the bleed going in favor here of Dexterity. 3 tickets, 2 tickets. A flag almost getting grayed out. Can it actually happen? It does. It gets grayed out right now, and we could potentially be having MYM coming back in this map to take it. 12 tickets left right now for Dexterity. Is that B flag going to get capped? It is going to. Dexterity taking map number 1 by 3 tickets.
Unfortunately, when you only have 1 ticket left to work with, you can't get those respawns back in to defend onto these flags. Future Makers, they played well towards the end, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough in the end. I just said that multiple times. But nonetheless, I mean, still well played by Dexterity, well played by both teams to keep their focus. You could see the kills across the board just really quickly there, and both teams really stepping up, adapting their strategy, and really making it count when it was needed.
And that was a big win for Dexterity, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
MYM has already stated that they like Dawnbreaker. They're looking forward to playing Dexterity on Dawnbreaker. They think that they can lock it down. Dexterity has already stated, at least to me anyways, and from me watching them in past games and casting them, they're 50-50 on Dawnbreaker. They are not that confident on that map. So that first map for Dext was huge to have to take that one.
And well, it looks like we have a little bit of change of gear coming in just for a second. Saw the admins being called over for the side of Dexterity. Future Makers getting a little bit of extra time to talk things over. I think they can be happy though with how that first map went. Yes, it wasn't a win, but they clawed their way back at the end of it in every single half, and that's showing the signs of a strong team. They just need to have that little bit of extra or whatever you want to call it to overcome that loss. But now Dawnbreaker, it's gonna be a fun map for them. I feel like this is Punchroll's playground.
Yeah.
Because I've always seen him, and I remember talking to Safe backers on Future Makers saying that Punchroll is a dominating force, and when he gets rolling, he can win a game almost by himself. Yep. And he looked damn strong in the first half, looked pretty strong in half number 2, and on a map they're maybe more comfortable with, we might see Future Makers take it to a map 3 as I hear my voice just dying more and more.
He's going out right now, guys. He's not going to make it. I agree with you there. MYM, I think on this map will definitely shine because it's more of a linear style map.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry, because if you look at the way Dexterity was playing, it was very, they were just basically circling the map. Mm-hmm. They were just making one big circular motion.
And you can't circle in a line, guys.
That's right.
That's math right there.
Line?
Geometry.
Doesn't know. Okay, but on Dawnbreaker, you can basically hold one side, especially Alpha and Bravo, lock it down, get a guy sitting up on top of the ledge, and it's almost impossible to break through that. They're going to be able to call out every single position that Dexterity makes. And that style that Dexterity plays does not work on a linear map. It just doesn't.
That was a pretty keyboard.
It is
changing colors the whole time.
Yeah, the chameleon one, the one that like rakes across it and all the rainbows and stuff. Yeah.
ESL, please. I could use one of those. But actually, I'm really curious about this because you're talking about the rotations, the 5-man pushes. What about on a map like Parasol Storm, or I see Shanghai is a little bit closer, but like kind of Parasol Storm, Siege Shanghai-ish, where you rotate, from C to A on Siege, or on Parasol where you're going from B to A. I mean, there's such a long rotate. Do they still commit the 5 men to push in towards those flags?
Siege of Shanghai, you can't count as a very rotate-heavy map, in my opinion, because it's spawn dependent. It's not necessarily there for rotations, it's there for the spawns. So what you want to do on Siege of Shanghai is keep out of C site so you don't have to worry about the back C spawns. Very linear map in my opinion as well, and it does allow the teams to reinforce the flags very, very fast. Parasol Storm, not so much because it's so big. It's very, very hard to do so. But we are going to get started right now as we do have MYM on the Chinese side, the harder breakout side, as it is a little bit more difficult to get onto that Bravo flag. First blood, though, going over there to Dexterity, where we'll be seeing Wag picking up that first kill, and we'll be able to get control of that B site and C site. Nobody for MYM getting onto A just yet.
Some Eachmaker's changing things up a little bit. Typically, we've seen teams on the Chinese side send everyone kind of over towards A, but the 4 men over towards the Mayak spot, I guess I can call it the planters, and kind of push in towards B. But instead they try to commit, try to go for the fight towards B. It didn't work out for them, and now they're paying the price. 9 will get taken down on the A flag. That will be A turned over, and C picked up as well. This is the hold I absolutely hate seeing this map, but teams are more than happy to go with it for some reason. Where you have A, you have C. There's no way you can back each other up unless you get the respawns back in to commit to them.
Yeah, you basically have to, the whole reason why you want to go for a double gimme in this particular map is just so you can flip the map. What you're wanting to do is overload that A side with about 3-4 guys. You have that C flag. Yeah, that one guy can do a little bit of damage. Maybe he jumps over there onto ledge for a little bit, but for the most part, he's not really there to try and hold it for a double gimme. What he's trying to do is just flip the map. Let the other team have to reinforce it there with maybe 2 guys, and then allow your team to push slowly down into that B side. And right now, it looks like Dexterity having a little bit of trouble coming back. They are going to be able to get control of that alpha flag. We do see MYM really spread out in one of the most dominant defenses that you can see from the CB section. We see Seo sitting up on top of ledge right now, Smashu over here next to planners. We do have 9 trying to transition back out there to take care of this, but so far MYM, they're looking really good, from that bad breakout at the very beginning.
I would hope so. I would love to see this go 3 maps, just to kind of see, Dexterity in the pool that they've been playing. Obviously, you've been casting them throughout all the cups and the groups and the playoffs, so you know a lot more about their map preference than I do. But Eachmakers, European pride, they're trying to fight this one back, and looks like Wag trying to push back in towards B. Looks like he will better pick up a couple of kills to help defend against this, but he will fall. I believe that was to Smashu. And now, Dexterity, they're not looking as confident. Yes, it's early on, we're 2 minutes in, but they're not looking as confident as they did in Operation Locker.
Right as you say that, we see a nice little 3-cap going their way. MYM Benny is going to try and make a little bit of a headway here onto that B side. Not yet, as he's going to be probably waiting in for those spawns to come up. So far, nothing is going to be going his way. Dexterity not even pushing in. There he goes. Finally gets taken down. So this is really spread out for MYM. 3 players are down. We are waiting for punch roll to get those spawns in.
If only he knew that A was completely open as we finally do have the transition come in. He gets the kill in a 9, and that should be the A flag turning over once he does finally go in. It's hard to get a read on team you've played only now once.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to get that feeling for a team. If they play against Fnatic, they probably feel a little bit more comfortable. But nonetheless, they do have the A flag. They do have all 5 men over here. And Dexterity, they're getting a little bit of control. They're getting their flow down. And I'm curious to see how they're going to go about this. Are they going to hold on the 2-1? Or are they going to be aggressive? And with 3 men rushing towards A, I'm assuming they're doing the latter of the 2. And Nesek able to pick up another kill on the Bendy, and that should be the A flag turned back over, forcing Eachmakers to take a random respawn towards C.
What you're going to see on this map right now is Dexterity always pushing in for that A flag. If they don't have A, they're going to try and go for a back rage on it. That's just all there is to it. They are not going to be giving that up at all. As was that Julio going down to
laying
a law?
Down the law?
Yeah, taking out Flax with a law. As we do see that A-B setup here for Dexterity. MYM now trying to get control over here onto ledge. Ledge, a very, very powerful position to actually have if you can control it. And it doesn't look like Dexterity is going to be able to do just that. Also a big push coming in from MYM. And I think this map right now is going to be teams consistently back raging over there on Alpha Flag to see who can get control of it.
Oh my gosh. Julio is laying down the law all over Eachmakers, picks up another kill to punch roll this time. And now Benny trying to defend against his 2-man push towards A. He gets one. He's looking for the second, looking for some help as he gets forced out of his cover. And the Magnum won't be enough. He will fall. And that will be the A flag turned back over. In the meantime, the C flag being capped over by Mav. And Eachmakers, they are crumbling.
Yeah, they are 103-76. And this is definitely not what I expected to see from MYM, especially the showing that they had there onto lockers. I thought for sure that this map would definitely be going a little bit more their way, especially since Dexterity is not really that great here onto Dawnbreaker. Punch Rule, though, able to get onto that Alpha Flag alone. That's the biggest thing here. these players from MYM, they're playing alone. They're almost never in a group to attack these flags. And Dexterity is always traveling into a pack. Again, using that Zerg style of gameplay. And it is definitely starting to work in their favor. 106 to 62 though. And it's really going to be up to it's going to be up to MYM to try and flip the map here.
Seo's body just completely did a 720 spin as he died. That was hilarious. And Benny was playing a little bit of ringing around the Rosie over towards Long Street. But 9 looking for a little bit of control towards C as he's looking for a couple of kills, maybe looking for the push in. As Reachmakers have everyone spawning in towards that C flag. I'm actually a little bit surprised to not see MYM go for a little bit more random respawn. But I think they realize, you know, these random respawns, yeah, we can get a flag, but there's no way we can hold it. We're down 50 tickets, 5.5 minutes in. This is supposed to be our map, and Dexterity are just walking over. So keep in mind, Dawnbreaker was chosen by Reachmakers, and it's more of a European map.
One of the problems here, Jason, is that the random spawns are on C. That's why you don't want to have Charlie flag, because the random spawns are on C. So yeah, right now Dexterity's playing this out perfectly. You see Wag kind of holding back right now. He's forcing those spawns to actually happen over there onto that Charlie site. Big fight going to be happening over here right now towards Ditch, and Mav is going to try and clean this back up. He spots out Smash U from below, not able to get the kills on it. He will back up to play very, very defensively here onto this Alpha Burn. And I think right now Dexterity is starting to come a little bit more into their own. They're settling down. They're looking like Dex a lot more. Dex is one of those teams that can play very, very aggressively, but also at the same time, they can switch at a moment's notice and play very passively. And that's what we're seeing right now. They're holding down on that A-B site. They're not trying to force the spawns over there onto C. Instead, they're just kind of letting the bleed happen.
Well, the bleed is indeed happening, and I think Reachmakers are almost out of blood left to give. 20 tickets left to go. The push looks like it will come in towards this B flag as Julio trying to defend against it. It looks like he'll little stall for a little bit of time. It looks like they will eventually... No, they're going to maintain the B flag. Somehow, they do pick off Reachmakers one by one. And MYM, they're not getting the frags. Like, they're not getting the frags. They're not getting the strategy down. Everything is just going wrong for them.
Yeah, it is definitely not going in their direction. But we see Ledge falling right now to Dexterity right now. 93 to 9 tickets. Jason, do you see MYM coming back?
Not this half, not this half. I feel like it's almost just a little bit too much to ask for, but they do have, looks like an A pickup potentially, but they don't have a lot of tickets to work with for respawn, so every depth that does go their way or go against them, it's just another ticket putting them into towards that grave. But C we picked up by Dexterity, realizing there's only 5 tickets left to go. Why not cap the C flag anyways? They're even being aggressive towards A out of Nesek, trying to cap this one over as he finally gets spotted out. And Reachmakers, you know, 90 tickets is something we used to see quite a bit on Dawnbreaker, but that's completely changed in the past, or in the recent past, as teams been able to close it a lot quicker. And you can see Benny right there just like, guys, what the hell happened? What's going on? Yeah. Dexterity, they look calm, they look excited, they look happy, and that's scary to see.
Well, that was the map that that Dexterity was playing Fnatic on earlier in scrims, and they did end up beating them both rounds. So, you know, it may be that they're just a little bit better than the Euros on Dawnbreaker in this particular situation. I don't know. Yeah. But Dexterity looking very strong. 19-7 there for Julio. Wag dropping 12-6. And then if you look over on the MYM side, they were struggling. I mean, Punch Rule, 4-11. I mean, as you were saying before, you know, he's the guy that was supposed to be showing up. He was the guy that was supposed to be leading the charge. And instead, he was left out alone over and over and over again on those flags.
Seeing Benny have one of the highest kills on their side kind of is a insight to how they played or how it didn't really work out for him. Benny's the man to defend the flags. He's the anchor. And if he has the most kills on your team, something's going wrong. And I don't know if this is because of the way Dexterity's been hitting flags. I noticed on Operation Locker when they hit the A flag, they weren't afraid, first of all. They don't have any fear in them, so when they rush in together, like brothers. I saw 2 men rush straight in towards A through a metal detector side, and they knew which corners to lock down. They got the kills, and it was easy. When one of them died, you got the revive in. And when they don't play afraid like that, and Reachmakers aren't prepared for these entries, which we see, you know, the top tier teams like Fnatic do, then how are you going to hold on to a flag, especially on Dawnbreaker when there's so many different directions you can be hit from?
Yeah. Well, I think it's because Dawnbreaker is linear that it was so bad. I mean, once Dexterity locked down AB, they had it for a good solid 2 minutes. And they just bled him out. I mean, that's all it was. They let MYM come to them over and over and over and over again. And they just got frag after frag after frag after frag. MYM had no answer. It's like you're saying, why aren't they going random spawns? They were going random spawns. They were C. They couldn't get out of them. That's why you don't want to have that flag. You need to go for A, you need to go for B. So in this situation right now, we are going to be seeing MYM on the better side. So they're going to be able to break out and get control of Charlie and Bravo right from the start. Also, what we do see a lot of times on Dawnbreaker is a very big push all the way up onto that alpha flag. You basically go up towards planters, try and swing around over there to hit A, and you basically catch one guy out of position and get the cap before they can actually react to that. So at the moment, we are going to be seeing Dexterity going in for a 3-man push there for that alpha flag. MYM, though, not seeing anybody. Actually, we have a really weird game right over here. Look, it's a one-on-one inside ditch. Julio is actually below one of the players from MYM, and he knows that it's going to be there. Can he get the kill? He does get the frag there onto Flax. Not really sure what Flax was doing there in that situation. Really.
Hashtag just Flax things.
Yeah, I think what he was expecting was Julio to not notice that he was on top and for him to run underneath him and ditch, and then he was going to get a nice little quick kill. But I mean, you make so much loud noise with your footsteps. Not really that great of a tactic, I don't think. But MYM now going to be stuck here in this really, really awkward position where they have to go back, try and salvage C right now. Ness already rotating onto that Bravo flag. We do see Sayo starting to get a couple of kills here on top of ledge, or trying to get a couple of frags here on top of ledge. Not able to do so. He did push back Mav, so he's not going to be able to really push down into that corridor. But again, A and B going in favor here of Dexterity, and we saw how strong they were before with that Alpha Bravo setup.
I feel like Dexterity are just doing no respect play. They have a 91 ticket lead at the end of the first half. That is, what, 69 tickets that you can lose?
No, don't do 59. It, 9. You are not. Okay, I was about to say, if he got that Magnum kill, that would just be nuts. But he does end up going down. And again, MYM have to expend so many resources. 3 players are having to go back to that C site in order to have to deal with this. Now, in retrospect, Dexterity, they're kind of falling apart a little bit here in the second round. Nobody capping B. It's completely undefended. They rotated a little bit too fast, so I don't know if that they are just kind of slipping up on the communication, but now they're going to be on the back foot.
I think it's just, well, they have a 1 map lead. They have a first half lead on map number 2 at 91 tickets. Yeah, I feel like they could just be really aggressive and try to catch Meechmakers off guard to end this really quickly and to not try to let this drag out where Meechmakers get stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And no respect play is really hard to play against if you're the team that's, you know, kind of defending against it, because you don't know what they're going to do. It gets you really frustrated within your team, you know, comms alone. And, you know, speaking of comms, we should probably take a little bit of a listen in on Meechmakers, because they could be losing their first match of the day.
Random C, random C.
One bush. Yeah, I got bush. Fuck, too late.
B down.
2 B flag.
Try random. Go ahead. Don't think about me. Don't think about C. Go ahead.
I have A random.
He's under bridge, I think. 2 under bridge. 1 dead.
50 HP on A.
Go up to A.
2 on A at least.
He's going back. Now we need to... 1 dead, nice, sir.
1 dead.
On the bridge.
Dead on the bridge.
All right, well, as you can hear, just Meechmakers, they're kind of like, forget about C, push towards A, and they didn't really even mention B too much. They really want to get out of this rut that they're kind of being forced into, like you mentioned before, of holding on to this C flag and holding on to only that.
Yeah, they just need to get out of there. I mean, they're just stuck in C, and they cannot get anything going on. We do see Dexterity now starting to push back in onto that Bravo flag after they do clutch out onto this double gimme. Sayo going to be the last player up and alive here, as he's going to try and hold on to this. He can't do it, as he will get picked up fairly quickly there in a 2-on-1 situation. Now Smashu actually going to try his hand at it. He does take down Julio. We'll see if he can actually keep his team back into this. 16 tickets left for MYM to make this comeback happen. And oh, look at Smash going huge right there with the 3-piece. That is what you have to do to get back into this game. I don't know if it's too little too late though.
It just might be. I mean, every kill that they have, every revive they don't get in is just one more ticket putting them into their grave, making things that much more tough for them to come back. But 96 tickets on the side of Dexterity left to work for, and 103 will, actually 12 tickets left to go in the Meechmakers, and that's going to be rough. They do have a B and C hold, but they're going to lose on B momentarily. The thing is, every death they take just makes it that much harder to come back, considering you can't get that respawn back in. You can't defend these flags all of a sudden. And I feel like Dexterity, they should have this. Like, there should be no way in any world, any universe, that they lose this match.
Yeah, basically right now, I think the only team that actually could have come back from a 12 tickets only would be like Fnatic or something like that.
And even then, that would be a long shot.
It would
for
be a
them.
very, very long shot right now in this situation. And, you know, right now, Dexterity, all they have to do is basically flood into MYM and just make them burn the tickets. 85
TDM.
left right now. Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
deathmatch for them. Like,
Exactly.
forget flags, just kill people. Let's just have fun. Let's have a good time. And, you know, Dexterity, if they do, which they should pick this up with 4 tickets left to go, they're going to be on such a high note coming into their match later on against the winner of SK and MHSV.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are going to be ecstatic about this. I mean, they've been told time and time again by multiple teams from the Americas as well as from Europe. You know what? You face off against the Europeans at LAN, you're going to get smashed. You're going to get crushed. And you know, they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove here in this situation. So they're going to prove it, and it's looking like that's going to be the case. I mean, yeah, they're going to be giving up a little bit here, but I mean, 93-63. The spawns, even when they come back in, it's going to be too much here. And taking it 2-0, that is massive.
Yeah, and with those final kills just coming in, that's going to be it for Mutual Makers. They don't have the tickets to respawn people back. The flags will be cacked over, and Dexterity, Viva Brazil, they're going to pick up a 2-0 victory, go into the winner's match of Group B, and now pretty much just getting all the European teams a little bit scared.
Yeah, right now, any Brazilians in Twitch chat, let us know, because right now, you guys, you're still hanging in there, going into the winner bracket, facing off against either SK or MHSV. That is...
I want to see
wow.
SK. I want to see SK against them because SK have this really aggressive style that might work well against Dexterity. The French have always been known for that, whether it's Infamous or SK or Gamers Connection back what they're previously known as. And it's interesting to see how that match goes. But now, Mutual Makers probably not expecting to lose the first match. Are now looking at the loser's match or the elimination match against the loser of SK and MHSV, and to be one of the long-standing teams within the European region, for them to get knocked out in groups is something that I don't think has even crossed their mind.
No, I would say, even in this match right here, I don't think they figured they would lose it. I think that it would have been tough for them. They had it in their mind that it's going to be tough, but not that they would lose it. What was going on
They can play
there?
Battlefield, but clearly they can't walk correctly because they just fell into the background.
You know, right now I think they're on a high. They're like, holy crap, we just beat MYM at LAN. I'm feeling pretty darn good. But yeah, so the next match is going to be SK versus MHSV. Should be a really, really good match going back and forth. I think that either you or Alex is going to be casting this. I think I'm going to be able to take a break here, but should be an excellent one to say the least.
And the funny thing is, before we do head over to an interview, is that I saw one of the members of Dexterity just sleeping in the studio, like right before he went on. Like they were about to play, and like a team had to come over, wake him up. And he's like, "Oh, okay, let's go."
Yeah.
And then they just play like that.
They've been sitting up and practicing all morning long. Since I've been here, they've been practicing, so they are definitely ready, and they're definitely hungry for the win.
Well, let's go and hear what Dexterity has to say about their victory. Let's go over to Mitch, who has that interview.
Well, thank you, guys. I think I echo a lot of the sentiments of the people in this room where I expressed my distinct surprise over the result of that match. I don't think Dexterity were as surprised as perhaps we were, but my God, what a showing. Mav on the desk with me. Fantastic work and congratulations on that game. Let's talk about locker room here. You guys are super aggressive. I mean, you said that beforehand and you proved it. Locker room, you sort of started off strong and then you sort of got 3-capped and you locked out, sort of pushed out on towards C spawns. The game sort of started to slide away from you guys there. What happened?
First time playing in LAN, we're not really used to this type of setup. We are very nervous as well. And the guys, props to MYM, they are really good too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much covers it. We are very nervous, so hopefully the next few games we can get through that.
Absolutely. Might just get you to swap mics. Do you want to use that one for me?
Okay.
Yeah, just that one's on. There we go.
Oh.
So we'll get you to repeat that answer for me so everyone can hear. Obviously, yeah.
So basically, we were very nervous at the start, and we never played at LAN. We were our first time, so nerves are pretty hard. And props to MYM, they played really well as well. They are very good in gunfights. We are very surprised actually how good they are, and yeah.
So let's talk about your communication in the team speak, okay? When we tune in, obviously, like Portuguese is a complex language, okay? Yes. All very chaotic. It's hard for us to pick if there's a strategy there. You guys obviously are all about pushing and pushing. Does it ever get confusing? Was there a defined strategy for you guys, or were you just trying to beat the head around?
Not really. We basically know what everyone's doing. We don't have a setup strategy like what to do. We basically know what each other. Everyone has a idea of what to do in the game. So we are very good at gunfights. We think we can pretty much go hand to hand to anyone. So yeah.
So on that note, having taken out one of the top teams here in a 2-0 game with some dominant performances, I don't think anyone expected you to have a 91 ticket lead at halftime on Dawnbreaker. What do you think about your chances in the rest of this event then, now that you have a bit of an idea about how you rank up against everyone else?
I think our chances are very good. Of course, there's Fnatic, Epsilon, SK. They are very good teams, and honestly, in this game, pretty much the momentum decides. So I think our chances are good, but we need to be very careful because they have a chance to beat us as well, especially on some maps like, I'm not going to say it.
Good idea. Keep those strats close to your chest. Thank you very much, Mav. Well, an unexpected result if I've ever seen one. 2-0 to Dexterity over MYM. Let's now have a look at the brackets and see what we have coming right up next, ladies and gentlemen. Our next map will, of course, be the Frenchman SK Gaming going up against hometown heroes, the German MHSV Esports. Now, if that map is anything to go on, this is going to be a fantastic group, this Group B. So let's hang around and see how the rest of it develops after the break.